it's so clear why we love them in Massachusetts, isn't it?
Yeah.
I want to thank, of course, Mayor Menino, Senator Kerry, who is here, Governor Patrick, who's here, Senate President Murray, and congressmen who are able to come here today, Nikki Songus, John Tierney, Marty Meehan, who is here with Ellen, and all of the congressional delegation who have been helpful to me, and particularly Senate President Murray. I appreciate their help. And I'm sorry, the Dean of the Delegation, Ed Markey, who is terrific in organizing today and helping us move forward on Tuesday. So thank you for reminding me. And thank all of you for being here this afternoon. And before we begin, I just want to spend a moment talking about Haiti also. Because, as the President said, our hearts and our minds and our prayers go out to those in Haiti and those with so many with relatives and friends in and around Boston and Massachusetts. I know that earlier today, Chelsea talked to you and other volunteers about how you can help me in these final days, but in the wake of this terrible tragedy that we see unfolding before our eyes in Haiti, and as a special tribute to President Clinton and the tremendous work he has done as a special envoy, I'm going to ask you to take out your phones and text Haiti, H-A-I-T-I, and text that to 20222. It's very easy to do. It's going to cost you $10. It'll go on your phone bill, but it'll go directly to relief in Haiti. And I think that if we do that, as President Clinton said, we can start today to make a dent in all the work that has to be done. Should have been done yesterday, but we need it tomorrow and we need it in the coming years. So text Haiti, H-A-I-T-I, to 20222. And I know President Clinton will thank you for that, as everybody who cares about that and has friends and relatives there will also. For those of you at home, you can go to the website and log on to clintonfoundation.org/HaitiQuake. Earthquake, Haiti earthquake. clintonfoundation.org, Haiti earthquake, one word. This particular crisis, I think, shows America at its best. We are terrific when we know that there is an urgent crisis like this earthquake. And we are coming together here in Boston and in Massachusetts, as everybody across the country is, with our government and our not-for-profit, to make sure that we take care as well as we can of that crisis. But you know, when there are other crises that don't seem so urgent, like the economic crisis we're in, we're not as good at coming together around that. And I want to ask your help on Tuesday to make sure that you know that you can help me by getting me elected to come together on what is a crucial economic recession. You know it, you've seen it in your cities and towns, we see it in Boston, we see it in Cape Cod and all the way out to Berkshire County. We're stuck in a severe recession. Millions of jobs lost. People are losing their homes, are afraid and worried about retirement. People don't have health insurance and they're worried about skyrocketing prices. And we seem to have forgotten, particularly in this race, about what caused this crisis. And it may be easier, it may seem easier for people just to get angry and to look for quick solutions than to really dig in and do the tough work we need to do. And it's in the face of these challenges that Massachusetts and you need a strong, honest, caring, and experienced leader who will go to Washington and do exactly the kind of work that President Clinton just talked about. I'm running for United States Senate because I want to, and I can, work with you to turn this economy around and move us back to a brighter future. And I know we can do it, and don't let this race get hijacked by those who say with a record of tackling tough problems, getting good results for Massachusetts. And those of you who know me know that when I get into a fight, I do not quit. This election on Tuesday is critical. President Clinton just told you, you know that because you're here, and the whole nation is watching what happens here in Massachusetts. And as I've been on the campaign trail, and I've traveled around the Commonwealth, I've been reminded every day why I got into this race. because I know that the wealthy and the well-connected will always be able to get good lawyers and others to speak for them. They are always going to have a voice. And sometimes, for the rest of us, it's not so easy. I want to go to Washington to be that voice, and I need your help on Tuesday to do it. About it, that this is the defining issue in this race, about the people I will fight for, as opposed to the people that Scott Braun will fight to protect. You know, the Wall Street Journal reported today that J.P. Morgan Chase just announced they made $3.3 billion profit. And they are arguing about whether their bonuses should be 7 or 8 figures. These are the same firms that you know caused this economic collapse. And they were bailed out by us, by taxpayers. Now they're arguing about how much money they can put back in their pockets, and I think that's wrong. Yes. I think we need to recognize that while Wall Street seems to be recovering quite nicely, Main Street has not. And you know it. You know it in Boston, you know it in Lawrence, you know it in Springfield, you know it in New Bedford, you know it in Berkshire County and North Adams. Then Main Street is still struggling. Now, what's wrong with this picture? That does not seem right. And I want you to know that just as President Obama said, hey, you guys, you should give that money back to taxpayers. We want our money back. I agree with that. But Scott Braun says that's okay with him. He thinks it's okay that while we are still worried about all of those things, jobs, homes, tomorrow, paying for college, paying for our prescriptions. Our seniors are not only worried about their health care, they're worried about whether they can even pay for the prescriptions they need to take. Scott Braun says it's okay that the CEOs can line their pockets and forget about what taxpayers did last fall to prevent this country from falling into a deep, deep economic recession worse than we're in now. So the choice is clear. Scott Braun will fight for the wealthy, for Wall Street. I'm going to go and fight for you. And you know why we need to do that? You know why you need to send me to Washington? Because when Wall Street says, well, go ahead, Mr. President, put those fees on us, but we'll just pass them along to consumers. Scott Braun says, yeah, that's what they'll do. They'll just pass them around to consumers. I think that's wrong, and I say that's not what they should be able to do. Right. Someone needs to stand up for consumers, for taxpayers. And frankly, nobody said it better than President Clinton, to make sure that we fight for the kinds of things that government should be doing. You know, this election is about you, it's your families, your jobs, and I want to tell you really quickly about some of the people I've talked to along the campaign trail and what they're dealing with. You know, this is about a mom like Stephanie, who lives in North Middlesex County. She has 2 young children. One is 2, one is about 8 months old, 6 months old. And both of those children suffer from very, very serious diseases that they were born with. Autoimmune disease, and the other suffers from mitochondrial disease. Stephanie had to quit her job to stay home because just managing the claims with the insurance companies that said no every time they wanted to test or go to a specialist someplace became a full-time job. And Stephanie's husband is out of work. And she's not only worried about how her kids are going to survive, how they're going to be diagnosed and treated, she's worried about whether she can pay for it. Because doctors in Massachusetts said, there are specialists, Stephanie, who can help you. They don't live in Massachusetts. But the insurance companies wouldn't pay for it. And she has taken on a full-time job just to make sure her kids are healthy. That is wrong. And I will fight for Stephanie when I go to the